Hello there. Here we are again in another lesson. This will be our final lesson and we will carry on with chapter 7, which was From Planning to Inspiration, the Functions of Management. We have now come to the leading function, which is the third function that we're going to see. Now, leading, the process of influencing and motivating people to work willingly and effectively toward company goals, is the third basic function of management. Managers with good leadership skills have greater success in influencing the attitudes and actions of others through both the demonstration of specific tasks and the manager's own behavior and spirit. Furthermore, effective leaders are good at motivating or giving employees a reason to do the job and to put forth their best performance. All managers have to be effective leaders to be successful, but management and leadership are not the same thing. The easiest way to distinguish the two is to view management as the rational, intellectual, and practical side of guiding an organization, and to view leadership as the inspirational, visionary, and emotional side. Oversimplifying somewhat, management is the head and leadership is the heart. Both management and leadership involve the use of power, but management involves position power, so-called since it stems from the individual position in the organization, whereas leadership involves personal power, which stems from a person's own unique attributes such as expertise or charisma. Do you have what it takes to be a leader? Indicates leadership can be a difficult concept to pin down. Researchers have been studying effective leaders for years, trying to figure out A. what makes them effective, B. how to identify potential leaders who possess the same traits as successful leaders, and C. how to train or develop leadership skills in both current and future leaders. In general, good leaders possess a good balance of several different types of intelligence. IQ, the widely known but often misunderstood intelligence quotient, measures a fairly narrow set of human capabilities, such as problem-solving logic. Although IQ is often touted as the standard of intelligence, it is an incomplete measure of human intelligence and a poor predictor of success in leadership. People with high IQs can fail miserably as leaders, in fact, while people with more modest IQs can succeed brilliantly. Research in the last decade or so, much of it pioneered by Daniel Goleman, has highlighted the importance of emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, which is EQ, in both leadership and life in general. Characteristics of a high EQ include self-awareness. Self-aware managers have the ability to recognize their own feelings and the effect those feelings have on their own job performance and on the people around them. Self-regulation. Self-regulated managers have the ability to control or reduce disruptive impulses and moods. Self-awareness and self-regulation are vital to keeping executive egos in check. Motivation. Motivated managers are driven to achieve beyond expectations, both their own and everyone else's. Empathy. Empathetic managers thoughtfully consider employees' feelings along with other factors in the process of making intelligent decisions. Social skills. Socially skilled managers tend to have a wide circle of acquaintances, and they have a knack for finding common ground with people of all kinds. In addition to IQ and EQ, successful managers also possess good social intelligence. This social quotient goes beyond the social skills that are part of EQ by looking outward to understand the dynamics of social situations and the emotions of other people in addition to your own. Finally, researcher James Clausen has identified a fourth key leadership intelligence, which he calls change quotient, and defines it as the ability to recognize the need for change and to manage that change in an efficient, effective way. Looking at these four types of intelligence, you can easily see how people who might be logically brilliant, high IQ, could fail as leaders if, for instance, they cannot manage their own emotions in the face of frustration, low emotional quotient, can't understand what makes other people tick, and therefore can't motivate them, low social quotient, or fear change so much that they disrupt the organization's efforts to grow and adapt, low change quotient. Now we come to developing an effective leadership style. These leadership traits can manifest themselves in a variety of leadership styles. Management theorists have identified quite a variety of styles. The major categories are autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, contingent, and situational. Autocratic leaders control the decision-making process in their organizations, often reserving the right to make all major decisions by themselves and restricting the decision-making freedom of subordinates. Autocratic leadership has a bad reputation, and when it's overused or used inappropriately, it can certainly produce bad results or stunt an organization's growth. Democratic leaders, in contrast, democratic leaders delegate authority and involve employees in decision-making. Laissez-faire, the third leadership style, laissez-faire, is sometimes referred to as free-rein leadership. The French term laissez-faire can be translated as leave it alone, or more roughly as hands-off. Laissez-faire leaders take the role of consultants, encouraging employees' ideas and offering insights or opinions when asked, and they emphasize employee empowerment, giving employees the power to make decisions that apply to their specific aspects of work. The laissez-faire style may fail if workers pursue goals that do not match the organization's. However, with the right employees in the right environment, this style can be quite effective. More and more businesses are adopting democratic and laissez-faire leadership as they reduce the number of management layers in their corporate hierarchies and increase the use of teamwork and technology. However, experienced managers know that no one leadership style works every time. In fact, new research shows that leaders with the best results adapt their approach to match the requirements of the particular situation. Adapting leadership style to current business circumstances is called contingency leadership. One of the more important contingency styles is situational leadership, in which leaders adapt their style based on the readiness of employees to accept the changes or responsibilities the manager wants them to accept. Aside from these styles, leaders also differ in the degree to which they try to reshape their organizations. Transactional leaders tend to focus on meeting established goals, making sure employees understand their roles in the organization, making sure the correct resources are in place. These transformational leaders can reshape the destinies of their organizations by inspiring employees to see the world in new ways, to find creative solutions to business challenges, to rise above self-interest, and to create new levels of success for the company as a whole. Coaching and mentoring. Leadership also carries an important responsibility for education and encouragement, resulting in the roles of coaching and mentoring. Coaching involves taking the time to meet with employees, discussing any problems that may hinder their ability to work effectively, and offering suggestions and encouragement to help them find their own solutions to work-related challenges. Mentoring is similar to coaching but is based on long-term relationships between senior and junior members of an organization. The mentor is usually an experienced manager or employee who can help guide other managers and employees through the corporate maze. Mentors have a deep knowledge of the business and then can explain office politics, serve as a role model for appropriate business behavior, and provide valuable advice about how to succeed with the organization. Managing change. The stimulus for change can come from any direction, both inside and outside the organization. Internally, a shift in strategy might require changes to the structure of the organization and to the jobs of many people within the company. Outside the organization, changes can come from many directions in many flavors. Some develop over time and are relatively easy to prepare for, such as shifts in demographics. Change presents a major leadership challenge for one simple reason: most people do not like it. They may fear the unknown, they may be unwilling to give up current habits or benefits, they may believe that the change is bad for the organization, or they may not trust the motives of the people advocating change. As a result, many, perhaps most, change initiatives fail, according to one study. To improve the chances of success when the organization needs to change, managers can follow these steps. 1. Identify what needs to change. Changes can involve the structure of the organization, technologies and systems, or people's attitudes, beliefs, skills, or behaviors. Number 2, identify the forces acting for and against the change. By understanding these forces, managers can work to amplify the forces that will facilitate the change and remove or diminish the negative forces. Helping people understand the need for change is often called unfreezing existing behaviors. And number 3, choose the approach or combination of approaches best suited to the situation. Managers can institute change through a variety of techniques, including communication, education, participation in the decision-making, negotiation with groups opposed to the change, visible support from top managers or other opinion leaders, or coercive use of authority, usually recommended only for crisis situations. And number 4, reinforce changed behavior and monitor continued progress. Once the change has been made, managers need to reinforce new behaviors and make sure old behaviors do not creep back in. This effort is commonly called refreezing new behaviors. In many industries and markets, change now appears to be a constant aspect of business, making change management a vital skill for leaders at all levels of the organization. Building a positive organizational culture. Strong leadership is a key element in establishing a productive organizational culture. The set of underlying values, norms, and practices shared by members of an organization. When you visit an organization, observe how the employees work, dress, communicate, address each other, and conduct business. Each organization has a special way of doing things. In corporations, this force is often referred to as corporate culture. Just as your social culture influences the way you think, what you believe, and how you behave, so too do company cultures influence the way people treat and react to each other and to customers and suppliers. Now we come to the controlling function. The controlling involves monitoring a firm's progress toward meeting its goals and objectives, resetting the course if goals or objectives change, and correcting deviations if goals or objectives are not being attained. Rather than focus primarily on financial results, many companies now use a balanced scorecard which monitors the performance from 4 perspectives: finances, operations, customer relationships, and the growth and development of employees and intellectual property. One of the most important performance variables that fall under managerial control is quality, a measure of how closely goods or services conform to predetermined standards and customer expectations. Many firms control for quality through a 4-step cycle that involves all levels of management and all employees. In the first step, top managers set standards or criteria for measuring the performance of the organization as a whole. At the same time, middle and first-line managers set departmental quality standards so they can meet or exceed company standards. Establishing control standards is closely tied to the planning function and depends on information supplied by employees, customers, and other external sources. In the second step of the control cycle, managers assess performance using both quantitative, which is specific or numerical, and qualitative, which is subjective performance measures. In the third step, managers compare performance with the established standards and search for the cause of any discrepancies. If the performance falls short of standards, the fourth step is to take corrective action. If performance meets or exceeds standards, no corrective action is taken. If results are below expectations, controls help managers take any necessary action, which can range from a minor adjustment in a food recipe to a complete strategic shift. Now we come to the management skills. Managers rely on a number of skills to perform their functions and maintain a high level of quality in their organizations. These skills can be classified into 3 basic categories: interpersonal skills, technical, administrative, and conceptual skills, and decision-making skills. As managers rise through the organization's hierarchy, they may need to strengthen their abilities in one or more of these skills. Such managers may also need to de-emphasize skills that help them in lower-level jobs and develop differential skills. Interpersonal skills: the various skills required to communicate with other people, work effectively with them, motivate them, and lead them are interpersonal skills, because managers mainly get things done through people at all levels of the organization. They need interpersonal skills in countless situations, encouraging employees to work together, interacting with employees and other managers, negotiating with partners and suppliers, developing employee trust and loyalty, and fostering innovation. All these activities require interpersonal skills. Communication or exchanging information is the most important and pervasive interpersonal skill that managers use. Effective communication not only increases the managers' and the organization's productivity, but also shapes the impressions made on colleagues, employees, supervisors, investors, and customers. In your role as a manager, communication allows you to perceive the needs of these stakeholders, your first step towards satisfying them, and it helps you respond to these or to those needs. Moreover, as the workforce becomes more and more diverse, and as more and more companies recognize the value of embracing diversity in their workforces, managers need to adjust their interactions with others, communicating in a way that considers the different needs, backgrounds, experiences, and expectations of their workforces. Now we come to technical, administrative, and conceptual skills. A person who knows how to operate equipment, prepare a financial statement, or program a computer has technical skills. The knowledge and ability to perform the mechanics of a particular job. Technical skills are most important at lower organizational levels because managers at these levels work directly with employees who are using the tools and techniques of a particular specialty. At any level, however, today's managers must have some technology background, not only to make good decisions about investments in their own facilities and systems, but also to understand changes in the external environment. Managers at all levels use administrative skills, which are the skills necessary to manage an organization. Administrative skills include the abilities to define schedules, create and monitor budgets, and manage projects from start to finish. Managers often develop such skills through education and then improve them by working in one or more functional areas of an organization, such as accounting or marketing. Managers need conceptual skills to see the organization as a whole, in the context of its environment, and to understand how the various parts interrelate. Conceptual skills are especially important to the top managers who define goals and craft strategies. Managers use their conceptual skills to acquire and analyze information, identify problems and opportunities, understand the competitive environment, develop strategies, and make decisions. Decision-making skills. Decision-making skills involve the ability to define problems and select the best course of action. Recognizing and defining the problem or opportunity, the first step in the decision-making process is to recognize that an opportunity or a problem exists. Most companies look for problems or opportunities by gathering customer feedback, conducting studies, or monitoring such warning signals as declining sales or profits, excess inventory buildup, or high customer turnover. Identifying and developing options. Once a problem or opportunity has been defined, the next step is to develop a list of alternative courses of action. Analyzing options. Once the ideas have been generated, Most companies develop criteria such as cost feasibility, availability of existing resources, market acceptance, potential for revenue regeneration, and compatibility with the company's mission and vision to evaluate the options. Selecting the best option, after all options have been analyzed and debated, management selects the best one. Some companies turn to customers and employees for feedback before finalizing their decisions, and this process can be cumbersome but rewarding. Implementing the decision and monitoring the results. Once a final option has been selected, it is time to implement the decision. This step generally requires the development of action plans that may be similar in scope to those developed for a strategic plan. Next, managers monitor the results of decisions over time to see whether the chosen alternative works, whether any new problems or opportunities arise because of the decision, and whether the decision should be modified to meet changing circumstances. And this brings us to the end of chapter 7. Thank you very much, and we have completed our lesson. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.